Welcome all to the Pro Football Radio Podcast. This is your co-host, Jay Chima, and the pride and joy of Merrimack, New Hampshire, the Puma. Welcome in, brother, man. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Took last week off. You're a little under the weather. Funny enough, I was a little under the weather. So we had our bye week early this year, but, I'm ready, back in the saddle. You look great. We got a lot to get into. The NFL news cycle never stops, whether it's 2 a.m, 9 a.m, midnight, it don't care. But Jay, how are you doing on this news-filled Tuesday?
I'm doing good, Puma. I have a lot to say because, and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get a couple things lined up here for our podcast, but I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How was your day today?
It was good. Work is work, especially when you're in aviation and you're in South Florida, which, positive vibes, positive thoughts to the people south and Central Florida. Shout out Matt Severance, shout out John Bowman. Love you guys. Hopefully you guys make it out all right. And, I'll check in on you guys in the next couple of days. But, it was fun and a very loose term at work. But not going to lie, I know we were talking about this offline. We were there in body, but man, we were just locked in on this Robert Saleh nonsense. So I can't wait to see what's going on. We got Imposing Chris already in the chat, lighting this game up, as always.
My man, Imposing Chris, let's go.
Yeah, so listen, I know you got a shit ton of stuff to say, so...
It was one of those days where it was so hard to focus at work, man. So much was going on. And it's so funny. The NFL is such good drama. On a Tuesday when nobody's playing, they had all of us in a chokehold. Every single one of us, right? I'm in the back. I'm supposed to be at work. I'm supposed to be focused in. I'm supposed to be locked in, providing leadership, right, to my team and everything. I'm in the back, looking at Twitter the whole time, just looking at what the hell, what's going on, trying to refresh every 3-4 minutes. But a lot's going on in the NFL, man. The biggest news of the day is that Robert Saleh got fired today. If you guys haven't heard so far, the Jets went over to London. They had a miserable first half performance, kind of rallied back at the end a little bit, but they still lost 23-16 or 17. They got back yesterday. Monday was business as usual. Robert Saleh got into the Jets facility, one jet drive, started working on scouting for Monday night's game against the Buffalo Bills. Bam, this morning, Woody Johnson walks in down the hall, taps on the door and says, "You're fired," right? In my best Vince McMahon voice.
No, it's like this. And for those of you wearing headphones listening to this, you might want to go like this. Robert Saleh, you're fired.
Exactly, right? Same thing, right? So listen, it's I have a lot to say here, but I wanted to get your take on it first. And I have a lot of for some reason, really raw emotions about this. As somebody that's not a Jets fan, I was absolutely triggered by it. So let me give the floor to you real quick, and we'll get your thoughts on what happened and why Robert Saleh was fired.
Yeah, so the reason why Saleh was fired was because co-owner of the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, wanted him out.
Yep.
We were talking about this in the offseason. We were talking about this, first episode or two of this podcast this year. Saleh was on borrowed time. If it was Super Bowl or bust, and anything short of that, he was going to be shown the door. Personally, I think he should have been let go last year and just start a clean slate, and they could have went after a Harbaugh or some other up and coming offensive minded coach. But the way everything's playing out, we saw it on that Monday Night Football game where Saleh tried to go give him a hug. Rodgers wanted none of it, and he tried to downplay that. And then, to me, the final nail in the Saleh A-Rod relationship coffin was after the Broncos game when they got 15 false starts at home. And Saleh pretty much shot it off the cuff and said, yeah, it was a cadence issue, AKA it was A-Rod's cadence at the line of scrimmage trying to get the hard count and get the defense to jump. Instead, his own offensive guys were getting flagged for the false starts. And, he said that you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Everyone knew what he was getting at. And then the following day, he tried to walk it back. And his entire time with the Jets, I'm sure he's a great guy. I've heard he's a great guy. His background coming into the league is amazing. If you ever get a chance, people that don't know, go and look,
Great
because
story.
how he got there has been fantastic. But
Yeah.
I mean, this marriage was set up for failure. New head coach, large market, underachieving team, ownership that is not as bad as the Haslams, not as bad as Dan Snyder, but they're not that far off. Like the amount of turmoil, I felt like his hand was kind of tied behind his back with the Zach Wilson stuff. And then you have A-Rod come in and being, the general manager and boss of the team. But yeah, this was just, to me, an A-Rod firing. And don't get it twisted. I'm not completely absolving Robert Saleh of issues, because he had his own peccadillos. Like, this team has been undisciplined for almost 4+ years now. They're getting flagged for the same stuff, the personal foul stuff, the false starts. They're undisciplined. But the defensive side of the football, like, that's an elite unit. And they were really actually starting to improve down the stretch. How they got to 2-3 is actually kind of amazing, when they kind of luck boxed their way to the win against the Titans. But I mean, the big takeaway is Saleh, to me, was in over his head with his job from the jump, and having the prima donna A-Rod that looks like he's 55 years old now didn't help anything. And him talking Domingo isn't helping anything, like in the press about, going over like the game plan stuff after the fact. How about you focus on like actually coaching the team?
You know what I hate more than anything is when we don't call a spade, right?
Yep.
Let's be honest about this. Let's be 100 transparent about this. We're not ESPN. We're not contractually obligated to say this, that, the other thing. Aaron Rodgers is washed. Aaron Rodgers is washed, and his performance led to Robert Saleh getting fired. It's no coincidence that Robert Saleh's defense ranked top 5 in most major defensive categories. And it's no shock that Aaron Rodgers' offense was in the bottom third, bottom 20, bottom 25 in most statistical categories. So what I can't seem to fathom is, your offense was the problem, then what was the point of firing Robert Saleh today? How does that make you better, right? So, like, for me, I just got really triggered by watching this today. And to be frank with you, it comes down to the fact that the Jets I almost said the effort
You almost went there.
Are a loser program. They're a loser organization. There's a reason why the Jets suck. There's a reason why they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1960 something. Is because of BS moves like this. You scapegoat the only good thing about your team, which is your style of defense, and then you give a bum quarterback like Aaron Rodgers all the faith. You give him all the keys to the franchise. The guy has won one Super Bowl. He's literally won one Super Bowl, right? And because of that, now you're going to hand over the whole keys to him. There's a reason why, and I hate saying this word, Puma, because it's so cliche. I hate when fans are like, clown organization. I'm like, dude, it's hard. It's really hard to run a massive company like an NFL team is. As a dispatcher working in the aviation industry, how hard it is to keep things moving forward. I know from my work experience how hard it is to lead a team, and I would never begrudge somebody by calling them a clown organization. But when you see moves like this, clown organization, you're frauds, absolute frauds. The Jets are just frauds. Simple as that, bro.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Jesus, dude. Like, my mom, of all people, was like, what do you think about the Saleh thing? The Jets can't seem to get out of their own way. And I was like, my mom is saying this, which I find it hilarious, because, I mean, you think I'm a sports freak. She's 10 times worse than me. But I swear, like, the Jets just have a penchant for, like, they can't have nice things. And it's not like outside issues are causing the problem. They are literally just shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over again. And, as a Jets fan, I don't know how none of y'all have like ulcers or anything, because this is insane. And then, look at the offense, Jay. Like you said it yourself, they're bottom third in major statistical categories. Where's Breece Hall? Like, he ran against Denver, 15 times for 4 yards. Garrett Wilson, his route tree apparently is only the back shoulder fade and hope to God somebody catches the football. Like, they're not utilizing these guys as weapons. The offensive scheme doesn't make any sense. I mean, there was a run play I saw right before we logged on, and I think it was Tyler Conklin went into motion to go to the right side of the line to, to chip somebody, then go out. and he just completely whiffed on the blocker. Like, I mean, I don't know if they just don't understand the offensive concepts or what, but I mean, the offense is a dumpster fire, and the kind of effed up thing is they're only a game out of the AFC East lead. So think of it this way too, to piggyback on the Jets being a clown organization. When you play across overseas, whether it's in England, Brazil, Sumatra, wherever they're going to go next, the league gives you the option of, do you want a bye week after, or do you want to take your bye week later in the season? Most of the time, teams take the bye week when they get back from across the pond, get healed up, get reacclimated to the time zones and everything. The Jets did not do that at all. So you fire Saleh on a Tuesday. And I think we're also leaving out a key part. He didn't even get a chance to address the team. He was escorted out of the building
we'll circle back to
by the security staff of the New York Jets. Okay. And we'll put a little pin in that because we're going to come back to it. So you fire him on a Tuesday, and now you have to prepare for a Monday Night Football against a Buffalo Bills team that just blew a chance to win the game, or at least, tie it up against the Houston Texans. Like, this is just, you're hitting the panic button 5 weeks in. Like, none of this makes sense. This is screaming. A-Rod called his co-boss up and said, yeah, he's fired. Like, I'm done with this guy.
Yeah, and I think we need to start looking at Aaron Rodgers' career in a different light now, right? What I used to be so infuriated by was when I would hear that Aaron Rodgers is in the same category as Tom Brady, and the reason why they would say that was because of seriously, right?
Oh, Chris,
Best
I
of luck
love
with
you,
that.
but my God, man. God, you're killing me. Nate can't hack it, ain't gonna hack it.
No, he ain't right. I mean, but with Aaron Rodgers, man, like there's a certain something missing there, right? He throws a pretty football, right? They call him the most transcendent throw of the football ever, right? But in reality, he's missing so much when it comes to the stuff that made Tom Brady great, the intangibles, the stuff that you can't measure, the leadership, the fact that you can rally a team, you can correct everybody's behavior, you can provide leadership when everything is going sideways. When things go sideways, this dude runs for the hills, right? Like immediately. And you start looking at his career. He had problems with Mike McCarthy, right? Mike McCarthy eventually gets fired because of Aaron Rodgers. Now Robert Saleh is getting fired because of Aaron Rodgers. Is he a little bit of a coach killer? Like, I know it's hard to fathom this, and nobody's going to say this because, Aaron Rodgers throws the ball so well and he won one Super Bowl a long time ago. But you're starting to see a pattern of behavior here. Mike McCarthy got fired because of Aaron Rodgers. He had massive issues with LaFleur, and he's not in Green Bay now because of those issues, right? He came to New York. He got Robert Saleh fired. At some point, you got to look around Aaron Rodgers and be like, "Oh crap, maybe it is me, right?" Like the single thing, the single variable that is consistent in all these relationship issues is Aaron Rodgers. Look at his personal life. He has problems with his mom and dad. He has problems with his brothers. He can't seem to hold on to a girlfriend. I'm not trying to have an indictment on this guy's character, but you guys start looking at who he is as a person, and it seems like he's a rottenly shitty person. Like deep into his core, he seems like he's made up of the worst stuff possible, right? And you're starting to see that translate onto the football field. Like, listen, you can't hide who you are as a person, and it's starting to come out now.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there was a baseball player, Kurt Schilling. I know that's a very kind of taboo name nowadays, but when he was with the Philadelphia Phillies, like his nickname back then was Kurt Table for One Schilling. And it's the same deal as A-Rod. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the only coach to survive this, and I mean, who would have thought, like once A-Rod left Green Bay, everyone was expecting Matt LaFleur to just, to crater and not be able to do anything.
His offense looks better than ever. When Jordan Love is healthy, his offense looks better than ever.
Look what he did with Malik Willis. He got more out of Malik Willis than Liberty University did with Hugh Freeze. I mean, what he's been doing, without A-Rod has been fantastic. And, A-Rod is he's just that table for one guy. And, is anyone going to really run through a brick wall for this dude? Like, I mean, does Randall Cobb even like this guy? I mean, does anybody actually like A-Rod?
So you bring in Randall Cobb, okay? You bring in Alan Lazard, okay? You bring in Nathaniel Hackett, right? You're probably going to bring in Devontae Adams because you think that's going to save your organization or your season, and you don't consult him when you fire Robert Saleh. That's the story that Woody Johnson wants us to believe. Woody Johnson wants us to believe that last night, Monday night, he had a conversation with Jeff Albright, whoever that guy is. He's the next defensive coordinator, next head coach, right? He had a conversation with him, and then he had another conversation with Aaron Rodgers as well last night. Now, in that conversation with Aren Rodgers, he didn't bring up the fact that he's going to fire
Yeah.
Robert Saleh. I don't believe that one bit. I
No,
don't
they were
believe that
talking
one bit.
about ayahuasca use, right?
Mhm,
Maybe
mhm,
maybe
mhm.
fit that into a vaccine or something, a little Johnson and Johnson nonsense. But yeah,
Just,
no.
just wherever
If
he
anyone
goes, wherever
actually
he
if
goes.
anyone actually believes that Woody Johnson called A-Rod and didn't talk about firing Robert Saleh, if there's any like children listening to this, maybe you put this on pause or skip ahead, take the headphones off. If you actually believe that, then I hate to tell this to you, Santa Claus isn't real. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Like they 100% talked about this. The Jets sold their soul to Aaron Rodgers for fool's gold, and now they're reaping the whirlwind.
I understand. Well, I don't understand how people think Aaron Rodgers is so great. Like, I truly cannot wrap my mind around this, Puma. Like, and like, maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I can't see it straight. So maybe it is on me. But like, the guy, the guy lucked into one Super Bowl. Okay, in my opinion, he's never been able to get back there. Every single time shit hits the fan or gets hard or there's a big uphill task in the playoffs, he doesn't seem to come through. He starts pointing fingers, right? So, like, what I don't understand is how can people get so blinded by the fact that he can spin the ball really well? Like, let's call a spade a spade. He throws a pretty ball, and everybody's like, "Ooh, look at that! It was a pretty ball thrown, right?" It's like the pretty girl that you essentially see in the bar, and you lose your thought process, right? So, like, I just don't understand how this guy constantly gets the passes when in reality he is not even in the same stratosphere as like the Peyton Mannings, the Drew Brees, the Tom Brady's, the Joe Montana's, John Elway's, even Patrick Mahomes right now. And I hate to say this, is just a kid when it comes to the age gap, right? But he is so much more advanced and mature when it comes to leadership and intangibles. And I just don't see it. And I hope the world can start seeing this as well. Aaron Rodgers is a freaking bum. He's an absolute bum.
Yeah, I can't fight you on that. I mean, look at the last couple of games. I mean, what he's had at
He looks
least two
washed.
picks
He
in
looks washed.
two
He looks
picks in
washed.
each game. He's getting popped. He can't really move. I understand his offensive line isn't helping him a whole lot, but I mean, we've been talking about this offensive line since he got to New York. So none of this is new. The offensive concepts are not working. His buddy Nate can't hack it, and you get rid of Salah, and your interim head coach is also a defensive guy. So like, what
I
are
get
you
it.
what are you gaining?
How does this fix the problem? How does it fix the problem that the Jets offense is bottom 25, bottom third in most statistical categories? How does it fix that? How does it fix that Aaron Rodgers looked like a child quarterback against Brian Flores' defense? Brian Flores brought a zero cover blitz in the first quarter that resulted in an interception, right? He brought that same exact blitz on the same exact down and distance situation, and Aaron Rodgers could not see it. He could not see that blitz coming. And then he had a third pick as well. Like, I'm telling you, man, this guy seems like he's lost a step. He's not even processing the game at a fast enough level anymore, right? So, dude, he might be. I mean, I'm calling it. He's washed. Simple as that. And
I mean, absolutely call it, Jay. I mean, we were on here. I mean, how many games were we in when Russell Wilson was in Denver and I was burying him?
yep.
You can't fail the eye test. Like, it is what it is. So to me, he's washed. He is a bum. Like he's a jag. He's just a guy right now. Uh, I mean, look at what Sam. Who would have thought? Look at what Sam Darnold's doing compared to what A-Rod is. Like, it's just this whole thing. This whole thing is so Jetsonian. It's so comical. It's so the same old Jets, and imposing Chris over here. Devontae Adams has to go with the Jets. Yep,
I mean,
yep.
what's
But
that going to help? How's it going to help,
that's not going to
Chris? Like,
fix the
let me ask you,
offensive
Chris.
line.
Chris, how's that going to help him? How's that going to help Aaron Rodgers being able to process, right? And then get the ball out as quickly as possible. When in reality, he can't seem to do that right now. Like this Devontae Adams thing is, if it happens, it's gonna blow up everything. It's gonna make it so much worse.
So to piggyback off that, right? So you bring in Devontae, okay? Garrett Wilson's route tree is already just like I said, the back shoulder throwaway, and hope to God he comes up to it. He's not getting enough targets as it is. And now you bring in Devontae Adams, which, okay, might help open up Garrett Wilson with the defense because they actually have to scheme somebody else to cover. But at the same time, like, there's only one football. Like, he's going to want his touches, and we saw clips in training camp where him and A-Rod weren't on the same page, and it was kind of getting a little heated at times. I think if you bring in Devontae Adams,
It's a cry
Devontae's a
for
good
help.
guy, but you're just throwing gasoline on the fire. You're not putting it out.
No,
And it's just getting
no, no.
10 times
Devontae's
worse.
not a good guy. You saw what Devontae did and how he acted in that wide receiver Netflix documentary. He's not a good wide receiver. He's not a good dude. He's not a good leader. He quits on his team the second it gets hard. The fact that he went to Las Vegas, went to go play with, his, what is it, hometown team? Is that what he calls it? Because he's from Fresno, right? And then
Yeah, he went to Fresno. Yeah.
a year and like 3 games in, he's quitting. He has a hamstring last week that he's not playing. When in reality, we know that he's just kind of chilling out because he wants to get traded. No, dude, like this, if he gets traded to the Jets, it's gonna be just a disaster, man. And in reality, it could make it much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Let's spin this forward.
Yeah.
So Bills Jets preview, right? And before we get into actually breaking down the game, I want to ask you: is the Jets season salvageable? Can it be turned around?
I mean, with how weak the AFC East is, like, sure, like nothing's beyond the realm of possibility. However, at this point, if they somehow make the playoffs, they're getting bounced in the first round. Like, I am sorry. Like, I got to see more. And for the game breakdown here, I mean, if from a betting angle, the Bills head up to MetLife, aka the largest air conditioning unit in the world that I've ever seen, as a 2.5-point road favorite. I like the Bills winning the game.
100%. I hope the
I
Bills
like the
bury him.
Bills. I like
I
the
hope they
Bills
bury him.
putting up a big number, and hopefully Sean McDermott doesn't have to resort to old motivational tactics of questionable people throughout history with infamous past. But no, like a lot of teams when they fire a head coach, you see what they call like the dead cat bounce, and like they'll win for the next game and they'll win it for the interim head coach. I'm not buying that narrative with the Jets in this spot. You have the Bills losing 2 games in a row. I mean, they kind of come back down to earth compared to what they did to Miami about 3 weeks ago. But I can't put faith in the Jets at this point. Like if they win at home on Monday Night Football, I will eat a ton of humble pie. But until then, like I would lay it with
I'm
Buffalo.
sorry. Nope.
But that's where I'm at in this game. I mean,
You
Josh
have
Allen. Hopefully, like Khalil Shakir comes back and another wide receiver weapon and the underneath stuff. He really opened up some passing lanes. Maybe Keon Coleman get more involved. I have more faith in the Bills offense and head coach and Sean McDermott than I do anybody right now. Oh, imposing Chris. You put it out there.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Now it's on you, Chris. You've got to do it. All right.
All right, Chris. Name the charity just in case. And if you need one, I would say even, I would say St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Hey, Chris, we're teaming up with Feeding America at work to help all the people down in Florida, right? So Hurricane Helene hit. So
better.
Listen, Feeding America, man, if you want to, if the Jets win, you let us know, brother. But listen, overall, I've never in my life wanted the Buffalo Bills to win so bad. Like I've never wanted. Oh, it'd be so nice. It'd be so juicy. It'd be so wonderful because now it's all on Aaron Rodgers, right? So like it's his ball game, it's his team now. Robert Saleh's gone, right? It's on you, Aaron Rodgers, and I want to see what you do. And the funny thing is, Puma, have you seen their schedule? Do you know what the schedule looks like? They're gonna be on prime time the next like 3 out of 4 weeks, right?
Well, they're about to get flexed out pretty soon.
All eyes are on you because this. Let me show you this real quick. All eyes are on the Jets schedule. So you've got the Bills Jets, right? Then you've got another Sunday night game with the 8:20 game against the Steelers, right? You got the Patriots, whatever. Then you got an 8:15 game on October 31st. I believe that's a Thursday night football game, right? And then you
Yep.
got another Sunday night game. So you're constantly just going to be on primetime TV, bro. And like it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out that you're a freaking fraud, bro. So like I just cannot wait. I can't wait to see this, Puma. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. But I'm with the Bills from a betting angle. I would lay it. It's under 3, 2.5. Yep. That's where I would go. I might lock this in on Dub Club, but definitely would look at the 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Anything else you want to get to before we get to Puma bets?
No, no. One of the games that we were going to talk about, but then the salad stuff came out was Commanders Ravens. I got a bet on that. I'll probably have another bet on that, so we can just go right to the Puma bets and go.
Let's go. Let's go Puma bets. We got the first one, Commanders Ravens, right?
Yeah, so Commies Ravens, Battle of the Beltway. I like the over 52.5. I put this out to Dub Club clients about 2 days ago when the juice was at minus 105. I haven't had a chance to look and see if it moved at all, but I really love what Jaden Daniels is doing. I mean, you look at what he's doing, behind that offensive line, be able to move around, move the chains. He's a dynamic runner. He's got a howitzer of an arm. I mean, look at the stats against Cleveland last week. He was averaging about 9.5 yards per attempt and 17 yards per completion, like against what was supposedly a very elite defense in the Cleveland Browns. And I just like how this Commanders offense is looking under Cliff Kingsbury. Maybe some people are just better coordinators than head coaches, and maybe Cliff Kingsbury is that guy. But as much as Cameron Britt Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals was kind of clowning on it Monday Night Football a couple of weeks ago about how it's a college offense. Well, this offense is putting up points. I heard the stat on the radio today on my driving to work that this is the Commanders are the first team with, I think it's over 30 plus points in the first 4 games with a rookie quarterback since the AFL NFL merger. And both defenses, the Commanders and the Ravens, are averaging about 7.3 yards per attempt and 8.1 yards per attempt, respectively, in pass defense. So I think we're going to see a high scoring game. I think Jaden's going to be able to throw the ball downfield. And Baltimore, I don't think they're going to be far enough out of this game where they have to eliminate the run. I think they'll still be able to keep up and be able to stay with the run game. But Lamar, when he drops back and throws the pass to the tight end, or hell, even say Flowers, I think they'll have some wiggle, some room to run. And I think we're going to get over the 52.5 in this NFL game. Next up, we're going to hit some college here. Let's go to Ohio State. Your Buckeyes,
down. Oh, where's this at?
But
next page.
I got Ohio State. I got Ohio State minus 2.5. I understand it's a road game. They're going up to Oregon. I don't have a whole lot of faith.
I can't wait for Saturday night, dude. I can't wait.
I don't have a whole lot of faith in Oregon and Dylan Gabriel. And that's no disrespect to Dan Lanning. He's a great coach, but I mean, since coming over to the Big Ten, I mean, they're getting a heavy dose of what life is like as a Big Ten football team. And you look at what they did, what they did against the Oregon Ducks did against the Michigan State Spartans. I mean, they should have boat raced Michigan State. Like this should have been a blowout, easy cover. I think they were 24-point favorites, and Dylan Gabriel just has 2, end zone interceptions and just nullifies points on the board. And you might get away with that against Michigan State, but Ohio State is going to make you pay every time. I like the 2.5. I locked that in Saturday night once that line opened. Because I knew that was going to get bet right up to 3.5. And sure enough, woke up Sunday morning and that thing was juiced to minus 3.5. Will Howard, he's had a good start to the season. I think he's going to be able to continue that trend, especially with the wide receiver room. I mean, you could go on for days about that, but I'll lay the 2.5 with Ohio State. 3.5. I don't hate it right now, but getting it under a field goal is fantastic to me. Another college one. We're going to go to Syracuse against North Carolina State. And I know you're saying, Brandon, why the hell are you looking at Syracuse against NC State on this college football slate? Well,
Because you're a
sometimes
sicko.
I am a sicko, and sometimes the better numbers are for those games that are a little bit under the radar. And Syracuse is one of those guys. And, former Ohio State quarterback Kyle Lexus McCord, he's spinning the football. I understand it's the ACC. The ACC is what it is. But they just had a great road win against UNLV, which we cashed that over, by the way. If you subscribe to the Dub Club, you got that play right when the number came down. That number was getting bet down to 55.5. And I said, yep, let's jump on into that pool. Cash that easily. Cash that Syracuse money line sprinkle as well, too. But you look at Syracuse on both sides of the line of scrimmage. They're the more physical team. They have the more physical run game. North Carolina State, I love the Wolfpack. I love Old Tuffy. But the 3-3 record's a bit deceiving because they had to come back and win against La Tech and a couple other teams that they should have lost. So they could easily be, 2-4, 1-5, whatever you want to call it. And Grayson McCall, their normal starting quarterback, I mean, he left that game against Wake Forest on a stretcher. That's how hard he got hit. And now they're starting a true freshman against this Syracuse defense that's, like I said, very physical. I think they're just going to grind them away with the run game. Kyle McCord's going to have his deep shots, and we're going to easily cover the 4.5 on the road against North Carolina State. And the last one I got for college, as of now, I'm going to have more plays as the week comes out. So we're going to go to one of my favorite games of the year. I look forward to this every year. Mm-hmm. We're going to the Red River Shootout, and yes, it is still the shootout to me. It's never going to be the rivalry. It's never going to be the showdown. It is the Red River Shootout. And we're going to take, I'm taking Oklahoma plus 14.5. And Texas was off last week. Looks like Quinn Ewers is going to get the start against Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. But 14.5 points in a rivalry game is a bit much to me. And granted, this is a bizarro world game. Weird things happen. They could get blown out. We've seen that a couple of years ago where Texas dropped a 62 burger on them. But you look at what Oklahoma did last year. Dylan Gabriel, who I've buried on here from time to time, he doesn't move. He doesn't take the deep shots. They won that game last year because he was mobile and moving the chains. He scored a touchdown on the ground. He had like 115 rush yards. And now they're starting I believe it's true freshman quarterback, Michael Hawkins Jr. If he's able to recreate the run game, keep plays alive, especially behind that offensive line, I think they're going to have a puncher's chance. The Sooners are having a couple of key guys on the offense and at the wide receiver position, hopefully come back for this game. So Oklahoma plus 14.5, to me, that's just too many points. I'll take all 14.5 of those points. I think Quinn Ewers is going to be, a little frazzled a bit. And this is no disrespect to Quinn Ewers. He is a big game hunter of a quarterback. He doesn't give an F. He won on the road in Michigan. But again, looking back, is that win against Michigan really that good? Because personally, I don't think so. I like this Oklahoma defensive line to get after him, and I think the Sooners keep it close and may or may not make my money line sprinkle docket this weekend.
Nice. All right, Puma. Last thing before we go. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. We've got Ohio State football on Saturday night. My Buckeyes are gonna go into Eugene and we're gonna smoke those ducks. We're gonna have some duck for dinner, okay? I'm gonna wake up on Sunday morning. I'm gonna do my little routine. I'm gonna get my workout. I'm gonna get my little Starbucks. I'm gonna get my little brunch going. Then I'm gonna watch my boy Drake May start the next dynasty, okay? We are back, baby. Patriots are back. Drake May, let's go. Dynasty reborn, Puma. What's your thoughts on that?
All I'm going to say is thoughts and prayers to Drake May because this offensive line is going to get him killed.
Hey, let's not bring me down, okay? I'm on a high right now. Let's not talk about, logic.
The drive for all that. 5.
Yes.
Oh, yes, Chris, how I love thee. Listen, he's great. I liked him in college, especially considering he had to throw that North Carolina Tar Heels team into games because Mac Brown just doesn't believe in defense. But the bigger problem for me is, this offensive line is going to get Drake May killed. Like they lost, what was it? They lost a key guy. I forget his name. He's done for the year for the Pats on the offensive line. But it's just, you saw I understand Brissett is what he is, and
Brisket.
he was and he was a statue back there. He wasn't really helping anything. So yeah, maybe Drake May's mobility will help bail him out a time or two. I'm just worried about this kid just looking through his ear hole day in, day out, and getting the David Carr experience.
Yeah, it's not gonna be wonderful. Like, yeah, I get it. This is just work in progress. It's not gonna look good for the first couple of weeks, but this notion that we gotta protect him on bubble wrap and you can't get him here and you ruin him. If that's the case, if that's the quarterback who Drake May is, if he's ruinable, if he can get hit a few times and not be able to process anymore, then he's not the guy. And we want to know early on, right? I fully believe you either sink or swim in the NFL. You throw him out there. If you get beat up and you go in the tank, then I don't want to build around you. I want to know immediately, right? I want to know within 6 games if Drake May can take a few hits and still move the team down the field. If you can't, see ya. Bye-bye. We'll get the next guy. How about that? Simple as that.
Is that Jay Chima or Woody Johnson? I can't tell.
Listen, all I'm saying.
I mean, I haven't seen you two in the same room, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That was some Woody Johnson shit you were just saying. I'm just saying. I'm putting this out there. If he gets rocked and throws like 3 interceptions, I don't want to hear you in the DMs with me and Freddie being like, "Oh, it's a dark place. I gotta go find the razor blades." I don't want to hear it.
I do get very suicidal when the Patriots don't play well, or when the Buckeyes don't play well. When Ohio State loses to Michigan, you might want to, yeah.
I mean, Chris, honestly, like, no, it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but it's a fact. Like, that is really the only way that friggin' Drake May is going to survive the season behind this offensive line.
What's going on here?
But honestly, like, if he, he takes his lumps, I mean, regardless, he's gonna take his lumps next year.
How are you gonna grow? How are you gonna grow if you don't play? Like, what are you gonna sit on the fucking sideline and watch Jacoby Brissett play like ass? Like, what are you gonna learn from that? Like the guy, Jacoby Brissett. Like, I'm so tired of this like narrative. Oh, he's a soldier. He's taking the beating. He got $8 million to play 5 fucking games.
What I was gonna say is the future is bright for Drake May. 100%. The only thing that I have is this could go one of 2 ways. This could go, I know this is a taboo name to say right now, but Brett Favre was also a young guy that came into the league and took his lumps, and, for better or for worse, he's in the Hall of Fame and with that gunslinger attitude and everything.
Let's go.
Or
yes.
It could go the other way. It could go the other way, and you end up like David Carr. That is all I'm saying.
So what? Then let's find out ASAP. Let's find out as soon as possible. Let's not drag this out for 3 years, okay? In your scenario, I would like for Drake May to be Brett Favre minus all the stealing from the poorest, state on the planet. Like, I mean, besides that, let's just mirror everything that Brett Favre did, okay?
I'm just saying. There's a path to either or.
Like if Drake May's out there stealing money from pension, holders in Mississippi, then yeah, we got a problem as well. You know what I'm saying? So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, listen. I feel good. I got some stuff off my chest about the Jet situation and Aaron Rodgers. My Buckeyes are gonna win Saturday night. Big day. And then on top of that, we've got our boy. We got our boy Drake May starting. So if you want to plug it up, bro, let's get out of here.
All right. So this episode of the Pro Football Radio Podcast and previous episodes of the Pro Football Radio Podcast can be found on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Review. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that little bell notification as well too, so you know when we're about to go live. I'm on Twitter at Brando_Puma. You can also find my Dub Club subscription page. The link is in my profile in Twitter. Click that. You get an exclusive 25% off your first month with code podcast. And the captain of the ship, the sunshine of my life, Mr. J. Chima, is at J. Chima on the Twitter machine. The DMs are open. Hit us up. We'll chop it up about anything. Football, gambling, life, whatever you want to do. Hit us up. More than happy to hit it up and chop it up with y'all.
Let's go. Good weekend ahead of us. Buckeye Saturday night, Patriots Sunday. See you guys next week.
Vaya con Dios.